It's a beautiful day to make some salsa. So these are all tomatoes out of my garden. These are the cherry tomatoes. If you happen to buy these from me, the midnight snack ones, they're red on the bottom when they're time to be picked. We also have these beautiful Mennonite orange. There's some San Marzano. This is a mortgage lifter, this great big heifer of a one. So all different heirloom tomatoes will add a really nice depth of flavor. I have some jalapeños I picked from the garden. Some peppers are store-bought. Garlic's homegrown. Onions are homegrown. And then we're going to add salt, pepper, and ground cumin, and of course a lemon juice, so you have that acidity. So the first thing I'm going to do is get these tomatoes roasting in the oven. So these have all been washed, so I just core them and throw them in a baking tray. I wouldn't put these on a sheet just because quite a bit of liquid is going to come out of these, so that's why I use like a casserole dish just to collect some of that excess liquid that's going to come out as these roast in the oven. So I have made salsa in the past where you blanch them and water bath them and then slip the skins off that way. I much prefer this way to just roast the skins off and then just pick the skins out of the trays. I find it enhances the flavor of the tomatoes by getting that nice roasty flavor on them, and then also it helps make a thicker product. And also then you don't have to deal with boiling water. So here's my trays about to go in the oven. And I did the cherry tomatoes as well. Those were kind of a pain because I had to then take every single one of those tiny little skins out. But my end product is fantastic. So I really think some of those little cherry tomatoes with the concentrated flavor really helped bring out some of the flavor of the other tomatoes as well. So for the one vegetable I had to buy for this dish was peppers. Mine just did not do that well this year. I do like to try to make my salsa all out of homegrown ingredients. However, just was not the year for peppers with me. That is okay though. I was able to get a really good deal on these green peppers at Gateway Meat Market. And then I also threw in one of the red shepherd peppers I got at Atlantic Superstore a few days ago. So I just like to do like a pretty fine dice on these. I try to keep everything the same size, all the peppers, the onions, and then the tomatoes as well, just to give a consistent product. You can see in the background there, I just have my second batch of tomatoes ready to be roasted off. I did about 15 minutes in a 450 degree oven just to blacken those skins, get a nice taste on them, and then let them cool and then peel them. I didn't wait as long to let them cool as I probably should have, and it was a little bit burny on the fingers, but you can let them cool much longer than I decided to, and then you won't hurt yourself. So I just put everything in a big bowl together, all the green peppers, all the onions, and the jalapeños as well. So my oven timer did go off. There's my first batch of tomatoes. I'm just going to add them to this big bowl to cool. If I did this again, I would just peel them originally from the tray because the putting them in the bowl actually made them hotter. So there's all my tomatoes without the skins. I then just squished them up with my fingers because they were so well cooked. My garlic went in twice, so it went in for a total of 30 minutes. There's me trying to squeeze out the garlic with one hand and failing miserably, but you can see it is roasted, and that's my bowl with the onions and peppers and jalapeños in it as well. And then I'm just making sure I have all my spices. And then I have 2 cups of lemon juice. And I just use the no-name stuff that I bought from No Frills. So I'm going to dump all my tomatoes in and get them heated up. So I just let these heat up for about 10 minutes. If they were not as reduced as they are, I could have put them on for a little longer to get some of that water out, but these are quite thick from roasting in the oven to begin with. I do like a thick salsa. Here I am trying to figure out how I'm going to do this, and my lovely assistant, my husband, came over and said he would help me out here because I was not able to hold the phone and do this with one hand. It's a really big bowl. You can see he had a little accident with his fingers. He has electrical tape on them. Here he is putting, I forgot to record that, but he put the 2 cups of lemon juice in, and now he's going to add the spices. So you can always adjust this to taste. You can adjust dry spices. You just can't adjust vegetable proportions or fresh like herbs. So 2 tablespoons of salt, and then 2 tablespoons of ground cumin, and then 1 tablespoon of pepper. He actually ended up putting about a tablespoon and a half of pepper, but it turned out great, so works for me. And like I said, you can always adjust your dry seasoning in canning projects. You do have to be a little bit particular with salsa. Tomatoes are right on the borderline of acidity. That's why you do add the lemon juice. I know some people don't like adding lemon juice, but I don't find it tastes any different. Maybe because I've been eating home canned tomatoes my whole life. So I just find that's what canned tomatoes taste like, and I don't notice the lemon at all. So we just let this come up to temperature because we're going to want to put hot product in hot jars. I've got my steam canner there. Once again, my husband's going to take over here. We got our lids ready, everything ready, a cloth for wiping our rims, and he's going to fill my jars up for me. For salsa, much like pickles, you are filling to 1/2-inch headspace. Now, he wasn't quite sure at first what that would entail, so at first he was kind of overfilling the jars, but he caught on very quickly on what level I wanted them to be at. So yeah, here he is just filling up the jars. My canner only takes 8 pint jars at a time, so we're just filling up 8, and then we're going to have to do a second batch to finish off the salsa. Okay, lovely assistant. So our 1/2-inch headspace. Oh, I can't. Now, very important, make sure you wipe your rims. I know I always make a big point of this, but it really is important to get that good seal. You want to make sure you don't have any debris on that rim. Once you get all your rims cleaned, you're going to put on your lids finger tight. Notice we didn't bother debubbling. Where this is a sauce, there's not really any space for bubbles. Of course, you could still do it if you would like to, but I really don't find on sauces, tomato sauces, it is necessary to run the plastic knife down in. So here he is, just finger tight. Now, I second guessed this because it looked like to me he wasn't putting them on tight enough, but apparently he has a little more oomph in his fingertips than I do because they were perfect, even with his electrical tape injury. So 8 at a time. We're water bathing for 15 minutes. I'm using a steam canner, so once it comes up to the green, we start it for 15 minutes and let it cool down for 5. So altogether, it made 13 jars. Now, one of these jars didn't seal, so I just put it in the fridge. I could have reprocessed, but I did not bother. So here are the jars the next morning. If you notice on the top there's a 41 cents, and that's how much they cost per jar. As per usual, I like to do my cost breakdown. Now, almost everything here is homegrown. However, the peppers, I did spend money on the spices, the lemon juice, and of course the lids. So my total comes to $5.34 for 13 jars, or 41 cents per jar. So that is it for my roasted tomato salsa. This is one of my absolute favorite recipes to make every year. My name is Tracy. This is From the Hut, and if you'd like to see more preservation, grocery, cooking videos, and how we are saving money here in Nova Scotia, please feel free to like and follow. Bye.